Do I deserve hate for being breed? Nice. Do I deserve hate for doing legs once a week, 4 times a month? No, you don't deserve hate for that at all. You don't have to be a full leg day guy. If it works for your goals, absolutely fine. I think people get a lot of
Oh
darkness
my
saying
god.
oh, Mimi's here. All the floodgates have been released. How
This
you doing,
thing
guys?
actually worked after
Welcome.
having me have a crash out almost.
It's crashing out. Welcome, Mimi. How you doing? You just persevered. Welcome, everyone.
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. How you guys doing? Welcome, people who joined. Who do I see? Lobster's here. Oh, Lobster's here. How you doing, Mum? Capitalist, John, Dan.
What was that
King
reaction?
Spice, Josh, Wriggler, Techno, Slayer's World, Bellin, Ron Judge, Shay, Fisher. How you doing, guys? Welcome. Weekly fitness podcast for effective fitness. Any fitness questions you have, any topics you want talked about, we're going to challenge them today. We're going to take all your questions, answer them. As you know, I'm here. I'm in a new purple top today. I'm Chris, qualified personal trainer. Been doing this well over a decade. Any questions you have, raise your hands, and we will get you to your fitness goals. Break down anything you see on TikTok. Get through any of the myths, anything holding you back, any challenges, we'll sort you out. Raise your hands for asking questions. You get priority, as always. Lots of don't need to leave. You're always welcome here. Always welcome here. Which split is most effective for John? So, which split is most effective for athletics training? Athletics training. So, I think that depends on your goals, really. Aesthetics, you're really talking like the narrow waist. We're talking about big biceps, big shoulders. In which case, any split that lets you work those muscles, really. If you talk about aesthetics, it's mostly about upper body. So generally, that'll be lateral shoulders, so having wide delts, having a narrow waist, having wide lats, and some biceps and triceps. So any split that lets you work on that, and upper lower, you can do it very well. If you want to make it into a push-pull legs, that's a great way to train it as well. So push-pull legs is great for beginners. 3 times a week to start with, great way to work on those muscles. But again, you can work aesthetics anyway as long as you work the muscles hard. Do we have any people raising hands for questions?
I got a question.
How you doing, man?
I'm alright. I'm gonna gym soon, so I'm just gonna be here for like 10 minutes. But anyway, a random question. So Friday morning or yesterday, I guess, I had a weird day at the gym.
Okay.
I woke up and I was like 3 pounds lighter, and my strength just fucking took a dip at the gym, and I didn't change anything. Like my sleep was great, my diet just kept the same. My water intake was really high on Thursday, so I was just like, "What the hell? What gives?" So I think Paragon told me I had my glycogen storage was depleted, but when your diet's the same, I was wondering like, how the hell did I just like, what happened?
That sounds unusual. Yeah, that's weird. So everything stayed the same, but you dropped 3 pounds in weight and then had a poor performance in the gym, which makes sense if you suddenly drop 3 pounds, which to you is a decent percentage of body weight, really, isn't it? So
Yeah,
consider
I don't
that.
know. It's just, I
Yeah.
guess it's a mystery, but I figured, it's a
Yeah, I mean,
compliment.
honestly, the body works in funny ways, and sometimes weight drop can be more dramatic. I would just treat it as a bad day, to be honest. If it happens again, or the weight change, have you weighed yourself today?
What?
Have you weighed yourself today?
I'm pretty sure I'm heavier, and I carved up yesterday. I was feeling small in the mirror and stuff like that, so I'm
Right.
just like, dude, I need to eat. So I
Okay.
I ate over maintenance a bit,
Okay,
just
no worries.
slightly.
Okay, so if it's just one day, like bad days happen, unfortunately, and weight can just drop randomly, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just keep a track on the scales. If it happens a pattern over a week or like 2 weeks, then I'd try addressing it. But I just consider it a bad day and just write it off and say, yeah, it happens. And as you know,
Yeah.
sometimes in the gym, it's going to be crappy days anyway. It makes sense if the body weight went down a lot, but I don't think it's going to be muscle. It's definitely not going to be muscle. It's probably not even going to be fat. It may just be water. It could just be. Well, how's your body weight been tracking previously? Are you on a downward trend? Is it quite steady?
Oh no, yeah, I was downward, so I was stuck around 170 for like two months or so. I got it down like very slowly, to, like 169. But yesterday I woke up, I was like 165, and I was like, Jesus, what the hell
Yeah.
just happened?
Yeah. Well, it could be like
But yeah,
it could be your body just finally getting to the calories and getting to new body weight. So yeah, keep an eye on it. 4 pounds is quite a big drop, but if it's been 2 months staying at the same weight, it's not actually that crazy for the average. But keep an eye on it. If your strength does go down, then yeah, add the calories a little bit and back to the carbs and stuff. But
Yeah,
for a
that's what I
one-off, I
did.
wouldn't worry about one-off. Check in
All
next week,
right,
see how it
sounds
goes.
good.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
question, man. I'm looking good in the profile picture, by the way. Looking really jacked. Looking good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it can be nice sometimes. How are we going? Okay, who is? I see capitalist. I'll go alphabetical order. Capitalist, how are you doing?
Yo, Cap,
This
feel
is going to
free
work.
to
Invite
ask
to
your
speak.
question.
Capitalist, do you get the invite to speak? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. How can I help you? What's going on?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I want to use steroids, or what I mean is I want to use something that's not harmful. I want I want to get better basically. Much bigger,
Okay.
much better body. And
Okay.
yeah. So do you know any like unharmful stuff? I mean, I searched and all I could find was creatine and yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so good question, but I will say I'm going to steer you away from anything too serious like steroids or even SARMs and things because a lot of them are untested and there are definitely negative side effects. And as a beginner, you certainly shouldn't be looking at these kind of things anyway because you're going to get the most results from the beginner gains just from training properly anyway. If you do want to take something that's going to give you a bit of an edge, maybe help your mentality a bit, I would say creatine is the most well-researched training supplement out there, so that will have benefits from that. So creatine is something you can look into taking. A whey protein or any kind of protein is very useful just to get the extra calories in, the extra protein to supplement your diet. And outside of that,
Yeah.
the only things I'd really recommend is something like a fish or a krill oil, and then
Hey, hello.
hi, how you doing? And then I
Look,
would cover
I
your
already have bought myself creatine. Look, this
okay,
one.
perfect. Well, that will give you a big boost
Yeah.
anyway. So I would start taking that consistently. Don't have to load it; just have the recommended dose each day. That'll saturate your muscles, and you'll get better performance. You'll get a bit extra size from that. Also has great
Yeah.
benefits for cognitive function and things, but just make sure you're on a proper training program. I would think you'll get the best results really from having the creatine, getting like a extra protein supplement to make sure you're getting enough, and then a fish oil. And if you really want to, you can look at like a magnesium or like a zinc supplement. But outside of that, that's going to give you all the anything you need to have a big muscle gaining phase. Really, how's your program looking? Are you going to go to training program?
I mean, honestly, um I don't have very much knowledge about bodybuilding.
Mhm.
I haven't been consistent because I have very recently was able to like start training because I didn't have time nor the resources to, eat
Yeah,
healthy.
absolutely.
So yeah, basically I'm just a beginner, and what I did until this time is I just trained when I was like angry, like like going to the
Mhm.
gym because
Like
you're
therapy, yeah.
angry, stuff like that. Yeah, like therapy. Yeah, instead of doing something
Absolutely,
destructive, I just
that's good.
I
Really great
just
to
did
channel it.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're ready to make a good growing phase then. If you're a beginner, which is great to acknowledge because people make a big mistake and they want to think they're really advanced lifters and they're not. So pick a good program. We've got a command here to find a good program for it. And like you said, and you already know, consistency is the most important thing. So if you stick to a program that you trust, stick to the program, eat well, you're gonna make really good progress, and you'll probably be surprised how much muscle you do gain. So you're off to a really good start now. Really good gains ahead for you.
Well, I got answer to my question. Thanks.
Awesome. Appreciate you, man. And check in next week to let me know how you're doing.
What?
Awesome. Thank you, man. I'll put you back to the audience, but thank you for the question. Hang around.
Perfect. Yeah, we've got a lot of people piling up in the queue. So C++ forever, JavaScript and Java gang right here. Feel free to ask your question, mate.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Yeah, well, thank you. How can I help you?
So my question is basic. So basically, whenever I train chest, like bench press, flies, and all that stuff, I never, never ever feel my chest. And I've gotten a lot of tips from my friends and family, and yeah, and I don't think it's working for me. So my question is how do I activate my chest?
Okay, really good question, and actually a perfect question for me because I struggled with training my chest properly for a long time. So this is actually a really good question for you to answer. James isn't here, so he can't answer.
Mhm.
I can't talk over me. It's fine. So I will say quickly, if you are doing the movement, you will be using your chest. So you will be training it, but I understand wanting to feel it more. That's a really valuable thing. So what I found really worked for me, which I don't really hear recommended very often, but I think is really helpful, is I set up a cable stack to about chest height, one handle cable grip to it, and stand sideways and do a one arm chest press across the body. So like keep your hand very close to your chest, one arm at a time, and squeeze the top bit. So very close, right across your chest. So I'm holding the cable here, I'm holding the handle here, across the chest. Keep it quite light, keep it high reps, good squeeze at the top, trying to slowly through the movement, and then take a rest to the other side. I find that really valuable for learning how to recruit the chest. I would recommend trying that before your pressing sets. Another thing you can do is get a couple of really light dumbbells and lie down for like a chest incline press or just a flat press, and squeeze the dumbbells together and kind of roll them up like that. So you're trying to squeeze them together all the way through the movement. So nice and light, again, really squeeze it so you're almost shaking. That's a really good way to learn how to recruit the chest muscles doing that. So I'd recommend those two things to try. Nice and light, but make sure you try to squeeze as hard as possible. It does take time. It is a skill to learn how to recruit the chest. And another great tip I have for training the chest is work on the stretch at the bottom. So if you're doing dumbbells, obviously you're going a weight you can control, or like a machine press I like to do it with especially. Make sure you get a strong pause at the bottom. So deep stretch, you'll really feel the stretch across there, pause at the bottom, and when you go to lock out the chest, you don't need to lock out your elbows. So up to about here, when you go beyond that, you're taking the stress off the chest onto the triceps. So probably call it 2/3 range of motion, down, long pause at the bottom, 2/3 all the way up. I think that's the best way to learn to recruit your chest. Does that make any sense, or have I just spoken at you for a long time?
No, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know how it goes, because learning how to feel your chest can be very difficult, like lats. People often struggle with that. So again, set up a cable to about chest height, one arm chest press across there, and again, touch your chest when you do it. So people say it's rubbish. I think there's a lot to it, actually, to focus on the muscle and think about it. My muscle connection, I think, is actually quite valuable. So then swap to the other side. I think it makes a big difference. Let me know how it goes. If it doesn't work, we'll figure something out next week.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate the questions.
Wait, quickly before you leave,
Bye-bye.
C++. No. Why C++ forever?
Yeah.
Why not Python? What's going on, mate? Or Java?
I really love the language.
Oh, you love the language.
I don't
Okay.
know, man.
Yeah, with the booming of AI and all this other stuff, you need freaking more easy to use programming languages that's lightweight, like Python, don't you think? No, I'm just pulling your leg.
Cool. Weird flex, but cool.
No, I like the
Okay.
name though. I appreciate the grind. I feel like C++, C#, and all these programming languages are probably going to die out soon. But hey, keep on the grind. Good luck, mate. Good luck with the fitness side.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
See you,
Bye-bye.
mate. Take care. Bye. Right. We've got 5 people raising their hands. And also, guys, thank you to everyone who's been patiently waiting. Really do appreciate you all. Happy Easter, everyone. Oh, actually, sorry to interrupt. Drum roll, please. Shout out to the sponsor of this week's podcast. It is literally Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying the Lord's name in vain. That is the sponsor of this week's podcast. Huge shout out to it is. I'm not joking. We literally have a sponsorship with Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It is a Yeah. So guys, if you're atheist, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, it's a very chill, safe for work community. They're also into like the, obviously it's Easter, so I'm not trying to superimpose any belief system on anyone. So join it, check it out. If you have any questions, if you have something you're interested in, go ahead. And also a huge shout out to, he's always here, always supporting, the best person in the server. Huge shout out to Breed MVP. Chris thought it was him, I'm just kidding. Huge shout out to Chris, guys. Remember, it isn't strike first, it isn't strike force, it is strength first. Make sure to support Chris on all platforms, STR first. Chris, absolutely amazing. Guys, we had another host last week, they're gone. 365 days in a year, Chris is always here. Oh, that's good. I'm going to keep that one as well. But yeah, when James comes, I didn't say any bad thing about James. It was all Chris, or Paragon, or all the other hosts that we should be having on the podcast. Thank you very much, everyone. Now, let me see. What else did I need? Oh, yeah, huge shout out to Boostcamp. the more the lobster roasts me, the more that I'll keep yapping. So everyone who's got your questions ready, if I spend another 30 minutes doing this, just know who to blame is lobster. Huge shout out to Boostcamp. Thank you very much, Boostcamp. Guys, if you want to get your free workout routines, etc., 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 get it on Boostcamp. Use code fitness if you want to get premium ones or whatever. Cool. Next person on the list is my favorite member, Candy asked. How you doing, dude? Feel free to ask your question.
Hey, I'm good. My question is, I've already forgot it. 1 second. Okay. How do you properly warm up to like your working sets? And do you warm up for every exercise?
Okay, awesome. Really good question, actually. So, I see most people make the mistake that either over or under warm up. So, you need to remember warm up sets are purely there to get you ready to do the working sets. So, there's no point doing 5,000 sets. People think they need to do loads, or people just jump in completely cold. I'd like to see you get just generally warm in the first place, so that can be just a light walk or like a light jog, anything to get the blood flowing a little bit, just to get your body ready. And then after that, for the first exercise, I like to do probably 2 or 3 warm-up sets, depending on how strong you are as well. If you're strong, you probably need to do more warm-up sets. So warm-up sets are purely to get you in the right movement paths and to get the blood flowing and get you focused as well. So generally, I would start with an easy movement, or whatever the movement is. I would start light. Just get the form right. You don't need to do fucking progressions were. You don't need to do loads and loads of reps, but there is to get ready for it. So for a deadlift, for example, we'll say you're deadlifting, first exercise of deadlifting, I would say start with, say, if you're relatively strong, start with with a 1 plate on each side, so maybe 135, 60 kilos or so. Do 5 reps, but keep the form very tight. Again, this is just to get the form ready, to get exercise, make sure you get executed properly. Then I would jump up, probably work up to about 50%. Next would be 50% of your working weight. Then go to about 75% of your working weight for 2 reps, maybe 3 reps. Again, just to get the execution right, get form nailed in, and then go into your sets from there. So 1 super light set, then one about 50% of your first working weight, then 1 light set of 75% of your working weight, and then into the working exercise. And then subsequently, if you're doing like a body part split, you don't then have to do as much warm-up after that. So if you're going from, say, a bench press first, you warm up for that, and you're going to do dumbbell press afterwards, you might want to do 1 50% light set just to get the form right and then work into it. You don't need to do the full warm-up set for each movement if you're doing the same movement across the session.
Alrighty, that answered pretty much both of my questions. Thanks, Chris.
Awesome, you're welcome. Thank you for the question, man. Enjoy the Ghibli profile picture as well.
Right. See ya.
See you, man.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you,
AO
Candy
is
asked.
next.
Lobster. He's got another question. Go ahead, Lobster.
Sorry, I was taking a picture of my bicep. Anyway,
What's his name?
Chris, you probably heard last month or so I was saying that I had sleep problems and I was trying to figure it out, and it's been happening for a while. And I changed my diet, I changed my entire routine, it didn't work, so I figured, okay, it could only be stress related. But I didn't know what I was stressed about, so I started taking Ash again. Ash, you know what it is. You can probably explain it to the new members here. It's a popular supplement. And I've been also looking into theanine, but I never tried it. But I heard it could be good because I'm taking a large amount of Ash right now, and it's actually helping out a lot. But I wanted to see if you have any opinion on that. Is that maybe a topic you know about, or vice versa?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so for sleep, I think stress can be a big thing. I think sleep is the kind of thing that you think about wanting to sleep more and suddenly you can't sleep. I find that myself. Sleep is something that I struggle with myself as well. The obvious thing to talk about, which I'm sure you're doing, is cut down caffeine, probably 12 hours before you go to bed. Try not to drink too much water before you go to bed. Having a dark, cool room is really key. So I have like a eye mask I sleep with every night because I think it makes a massive difference keeping light out. Don't be afraid to use like a white noise or like a fan or something. That can be really valuable if you sleep in a noisy area or a noisy place. theanine can be very useful. We should get James on here. I wish James was here. He could answer this more. He's more into supplements than I am, but I do think it's useful to take, especially with ashwagandha, like you said. Have you looked at stuff like magnesium before bed or anything like that?
I used to, but it didn't really do much. So I just, I'm playing around with different ones. But yeah, like I said, I heard about L-theanine or L-theanine. I don't know how to pronounce that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen good reviews on it, but I never tried it. So maybe a coach has, maybe you have. Who knows?
So this would be a good question for James. I'm sure he knows much more about this than I am. He's more up to date on that kind of stuff. I know L-theanine can be useful for sleep. And it works
All right, no
well for
worries.
caffeine as well.
I'll-
So
Yeah.
I won't try and answer a question I don't know fully on. So we'll try to get him involved next week and get back to him. So sorry about that one, man.
All right, and ice you suck. Anyway, thank you.
Take it easy, man.
Perfect. Yes, and you are correct. Ice does suck. He was MVP, now he isn't. I see. Feel free to ask your question. And thanks for raising your hand, Mimi. We'll get to you. Oof, there's 4 more people before you.
Hi there, Ice. Do you hear me? You're sounding a bit robotic and in a tunnel somewhere.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you the last bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can. So, from last week, oh, do I? Maybe it's because it's night and I'm sleepy. So, from
I'm
last week, I started, yeah, from last week,
I'm sorry, man. You're having issues with your microphone. I can only hear every other word or parts of it.
I can't even make it up to. Wait, can I type in the chat?
Yeah. Type it. That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Chat? Can I type in the chat? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, type in the chat for sure. Cool. Hi. Advice for leg mobility. Okay, what do you mean? Like you're at the knee, at the hip? Like what's? Okay. Okay, so for pistol squats, it's very common to not have much flexibility for that. There's nothing in particular. General hip flexing, hip stretching is very valuable. Often it's a hip rotation issue, so work on hip rotation and internal external rotation. Outside of that, it's really valuable just to work on stretching your calves. So do some calf raises nice and high. All full range of motion for that, and also just spending time in the bottom of a squat position, just forcing yourself down, holding something, just keep yourself down, and moving your knees back and forth. It's just it's just a valuable process of getting through it. Also do some loaded squatting as well. Just having a goblet squat can be really useful just to get your knees and hips into place. Yeah, also check out Hampton. I'm sure Hampton's got some very useful stuff for calisthenics for pistol squats as well. He's a coach on the server as well. So have you got a link to Hampton stuff? He must have some issue with pistol squat mobility. It's not a problem. It's very common. It's something you should just work through. A lot of stretching is breathing through it and doing dynamic and mobile stretches as well. So don't just do static stretches. Don't just hold there for a long time. Do stretches where you move up and down through the movement and almost like a flow that can be really useful. really well respected, really valuable calisthenics coach. He's got lots of good videos as well. So check his stuff there. I'm sure he's got specific stuff on pistol squats. I'm sure I've seen a video of him on pistol squat mobility as well.
Alright.
So
The
yeah, check
other
out the
question
server that's
is like,
posted in the chat.
okay. The other question is like,
Yeah, the
how do
question for sure.
I do a warm up? Like for a warm up, I'm not. Should I just do cardio, or the workouts, but with just little weights at first? So I'm not sure how to do warm ups.
Yeah, so warm-ups are, we covered it just briefly before, but basically for warm-ups for anything, getting a bit of cardio in just for a few minutes just to get blood flowing is really important. Then look at some maybe like dynamic stretches. So don't do anything static, do stretches that involve a lot of movement. And then do light sets or easy versions of the first exercise you want to do. So for lifting weights, it would be a light set of the movement with just less weight. If you're doing things like calisthenics, you might want to do move maybe instead of going straight into pistol squats, warm up with some bodyweight lunges, some bodyweight squats, and then let your body adapt into the more advanced movements like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So for working out, like that's not calisthenic lifting weights. It's just small weights movement.
For warm-ups, basically the only thing warm-up
Does it
is
make
to get you
sense?
ready to do the actual movement. So it can be anything that you, it's basically the best way to warm up is to do a little bit of movement, so a bit of cardio just to get the blood flowing, and then do an easy version of the movement you want to train first.
So like that's for everything, even calisthenics, or like just for
Yeah.
body weight or lifting weights.
Just do a light and easy basic version of the exercise you want to do first, just to get the body right movement, to get your body all the patterns right, and then go into it from there. Warm-ups are just there to get you ready to do the main work. So an easy version of the exercise you want to do first is the best way to do a proper warm-up.
Yeah, I think I get it. But for what about the second exercise? Do I need to also do small weights? For example,
If it's the
let's
same
say
movement
bench
pattern,
press.
you don't have to do as much.
Oh, okay.
So what's the first exercise?
I would say that oh my god, I forgot the exercise name.
it's fine, take
After
your time.
squats,
If it's
after squats, walking lunges. What about after squat and walking lunges? For an example, do I need to like for walking
Okay.
lunges like do small reps?
Okay. In that case, if you're going from like a leg movement like a squat, and the second exercise is going to be a chest movement, I would say do a couple more warm-up sets for that. So because it's a very different movement, the warm-up, you've done the general warm-up to get the blood flowing, then you've warmed up specifically for the squats. If you were then going to do a leg press, I would say do maybe one warm-up set and then the working sets of leg press. But if you're going to a completely different muscle group, I would say do a bit more of a thorough warm-up. Maybe do 2 or 3 warm-up sets and then go into chest press from there.
What about for things
Again, it's all
like
just about getting yourself
superset?
ready to do the exercise.
Like what about for things like
For a
superset? Does
superset?
it like for a superset?
Okay, well, I don't really like supersets. I think you're always better suited to do proper sets with rest in between. However, if you're going to do a superset, say of, so it sounds like you want to do a superset of squats and bench press. Is that right?
I don't really do supersets, but when I do, it's mostly
Okay,
for example shoulder, legs, or like opposite body parts.
Okay, if you're training different body parts, like saying you're doing say you're doing an Arnold split and you're doing a supersetting a chest pull up with a bench press, for example, I would do warm up sets before. I would do a couple of sets of warm up for chest. I would do a couple of warm up sets of lats, and then I would do the proper working supersets after that. So I'd do the warm ups beforehand, take a rest, and then do the proper working sets with the supersets involved.
Oh,
Again,
okay,
it's just getting ready to
thanks.
perform the movement to do the best
Okay.
version of the exercises. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the question, man. Take it easy.
Perfect. Next question definitely isn't going to be iced, even if he's got his hand raised. DMNK, how are you doing, dude? Feel free to ask your question.
You guys hear me okay?
I can just about hear you. How you doing?
Is that better?
Can you get any louder at all?
Wait, sorry, DMNK.
Oh.
What time do you call this, buddy?
Sorry, boys. I I had to forfeit again.
No,
Took some
it's all
time.
right. Yeah, you
And then I
did
had
tell
to
me
do
early
triple
on.
squad, so I didn't forfeit a third time. So, but here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Chris, you know what? Chris has been bad mouthing you. I've not said anything bad about you once. It's all
Yeah,
recorded.
that's the way it's gone.
Chris
That's the
said
way it's gone
James
round,
sucks.
yeah.
He's unreliable. I don't know. He said, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome, dude. DMMK, feel free to ask your question, mate.
Is that better?
I'm sorry, mate. You're very, very quiet.
Fucking hell.
MNK, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it's better. I can hear you now. That's better.
Okay. So recently I started taking Muay Thai classes, and the problem is right after I leave work, I have time to go to the gym and then go right to class. Would I lose any of my potential muscle gains after lifting weights and then going to Muay Thai and then getting home and eating a lot of protein as opposed to just going to the gym and then going home? Would I lose any muscle gains?
Okay, I'll answer first, and James can chip in afterwards. 'Cause obviously, he's the muscle gain expert here. I would say you're probably missing. You're not maximizing the muscle you're building from it. I think you'd really benefit from a quick feeding period. So maybe a quick protein shake or something light to get in your system. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but I do think you may benefit from having a bit of extra nutrition after the weight training.
Okay.
What do you think, James? Someone fresh and ready?
Sorry, man. I was a bit distracted. Can you just summarize the question again for me?
Yeah, so recently I started learning Muay Thai, and the problem is right after work I only have time to go to the gym and then go to Muay Thai practice, and so I'd have to wait to start eating after my workout until after Muay Thai. So I'm worried that I wouldn't gain as much muscle as I normally would, whereas if I just went to the gym and then went home. That's my best way I could summarize it.
Okay. I mean, I think don't stress it too much. Just do what you can. Just do what you can. That's all you can do. You've got your priorities, and you've just got to work within your own constraints. So yeah, it's not optimal, but
Yeah. it's
you
not
know,
the
maybe
world.
take food where you can as well. Like, I don't know. Like, can you get in peri-workout nutrition? Can you get in like a protein bar to help out? I don't know. Is there other things you can do?
Just to quickly add as well.
I could
Sorry.
also rearrange my schedule. I'd prefer not to, but if I lose, if the cost benefit situation, if I'd lose a lot of potential muscle gain, then I could rearrange my schedule.
Yeah, I'm just
But
thinking because how long is the Muay Thai?
So the drive there is about 20 minutes. Then the class is about an hour and a half long. Then it's about 20-minute drive home, so about 2 hours. So
Okay. In that case, I was going to say if it's a short period, if it's only like a half-hour class, I treat it like cardio and not be a big deal after the weight session. Yeah, if it works your schedule, it can work. It gives you priorities. If you're prioritizing the Muay Thai, it's absolutely fine. If you got a chance in the car just to have a bite to eat or like a quick drink on the way to the session, I think that'd be great on the way back. But as long as your workout for the whole day, all your nutrition for the whole day is in track, like if you're eating enough food beforehand, enough protein in your system, it's not going to make a huge difference.
those protein bars that have 20 grams of protein and 2 grams of sugar, is that what you would recommend? I just down one of those and then go to practice.
Yeah, I mean, I'd see how well you tolerate them because a lot of them use sugar alcohols. Some people can get some GI issues from those. So like grenade bars, most low sugar bars will use sugar alcohols and then just say low sugar, but actually sugar alcohols are arguably just worse than sugar because they're just pretty nasty on digestion, on the digestive tract. So see how you go. And
Also,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
as long as you're not eating sort of too close to your practice to the point where you're just like getting nauseous and stuff. Just experiment, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also
that's
like
right.
it could be whole food as well. You could have like some Greek yogurt or something, anything that's just easy to get in your system to digest. It doesn't have to be a big meal, just quick little burst of protein would be beneficial for you if you can. Or a sandwich,
What
anything
I would
like it doesn't
do-
have to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. What I would do is when's your last meal before Muay Thai?
Yeah. So I would eat at about noon to 12:30. Then I would go to the gym at 3:30. Then I'd go to Muay Thai at 5:30, and then I'd be there at 6. So
Quite a long
So
time.
so basically you've got so after the gym, you're essentially you can't get home, you can't get a meal in before Muay Thai. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
the
Yeah.
schedule
Mate,
is go
that's-
from work to gym, then to Muay Thai.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's like the perfect conditions for a mate. I'd take a shake, man. I'd just take a shake and then just add some carbs into the shake. Like you could blitz a banana into it, or you could throw in some like powdered oats. That's what I've done in the past. Depending on what your goals are, obviously. Like I don't know if you want a ton of carbs in there, but I mean to fuel your training, I'd say you definitely want to carb back up after the gym. That's going to be really important. So just a protein bar on its own probably wouldn't do that. You'd probably want a bit more energy. So I think a shake would be a good idea, to be honest. Or you could do like something like a protein flapjack because they're quite high carb. And I know the Warrior ones are super cheap. I don't know if they have Warrior in your country, but yeah, just anything where you're getting carbs in, which is easy, and you're going to stick to it. I think that's what matters.
a problem with energy, it's just all I'm worried about is just putting on muscle,
Gains,
in
yeah.
spite of doing basically more cardio after my workout, pretty much.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
a
for
factor,
sure.
problem though. That's not a problem. Yeah, I do cardio after my weight training every single day. So don't worry about that being a factor. As long as your nutrition is solid for the day as a whole, you're going to be on track for making all the gains you can, really.
I eat loads of chicken and rice after doing both when I get home. So
Chicken, broccoli, rice, the Holy Trinity, Yeah, you're on the right track, man. Doing well.
thank you guys, appreciate it. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, take it easy.
Yo, happy Easter, mate. Quick question before you leave, dude. Is this your first time joining the podcast?
Yeah, no, I've been here a couple times.
Oh, nice. Glad to have you, mate. I really do appreciate
We know,
you.
we know.
You have some really good questions. Croissant has a question. Did we get to you, Croissant? Sorry, I'm jumping between multiple people. Croissant, I'll get to you right after the ad break. Then Mimi, sorry, Mimi. Okay, so guys, you all know that it's Easter. This week's podcast is literally sponsored by Jesus Christ. Rizli. Am I pronouncing your name properly? Sorry if I'm not. I really do apologize. It's not intentional. I am literally an idiot. Huge shout out to Rizli and shout out to Jesus Christ Discord server guys. Atheist, Christian, Muslim guys are welcome. They're scholars. It's a nice server. It's literally Easter. Everyone who knows the real reason why Easter exists, so I'm not putting any of my beliefs on anyone, so you can't cancel me. We all know why. We all know why it's Bank Holiday Friday and Monday. We all know who gave us this day. So feel free to check it out. So it's literally discord.gg/Jesus Christ. And I hope I didn't spell it incorrectly. But yeah, thank you very much. And right, back to the podcast. Mimi, you have been waiting patiently, so feel free to ask your question.
Yeah, I guess I had patience one day. Okay, I have two questions actually. Give me just 1 second, please.
Yeah, sure. Not to worry.
Wait, you literally had like 30 minutes to get ready. That's crazy. No, just kidding. Take your time. Okay, I have got a question while we're waiting for Mimi. No worry, take your time.
Okay.
You're not allowed AO.
I was
BCAA
about to ask a question, like-
tablets. Stop yapping. All right, BCAA tablets. Can you explain what they do? And I saw someone at the gym taking them, and I was like, oh, I've actually never really taken one. I have no idea what they do. So now that I've got you two geniuses, feel free to explain. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you ever do encounter them, it's a very easy couple of steps. Pick them up, open the trash can, throw them in, continue with your day.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Person's a mate
Yeah,
of
so
mine, so I
that's
can't
right,
really
so
do
just
that. I
stick
don't want to
to
lose
it.
friends.
You steal them out of his bag, throw them away. All right, basically, here's the deal. So, here's the deal.
The best duos are burning bridges, right? And just gonna make it. That's like social suicide.
Burn the
Just
bridges,
walk up to
man.
like a mate. Just,
Burn the bridge.
okay.
So BCAAs, they used to
Which
be
stands
all the
for?
rage back in bodybuilding circles for many, many years. I think going back to probably the 90s. Yeah, potentially even before that, I don't know. But a long, long time. And people used to think, oh, well, because BCAAs are branched chain amino acids. So it's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So it's 3 different amino acids, right? So leucine is what triggers anabolism in the body. So leucine is the amino acid which essentially triggers muscle growth via mTOR. Without leucine, the protein, if it doesn't have leucine, because protein is essentially made up of amino acids, as most of you probably know. Without leucine, there is no anabolic component to the protein, and this is why vegans and vegetarians can sometimes have trouble with protein quality, because usually the leucine content is quite low. So you need to have more of the protein to actually get that leucine up. And in some cases, you know, it's a lot of protein that you would need to eat. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's just unviable. So that's where supplementing with leucine can actually help. But anyway, back to the question. So EAAs, essential amino acids, which is all 9 amino acids, work a lot better than BCAAs. So BCAAs, they've shown now in research, they don't really do a lot. They can be quite anti-catabolic, but EAAs are just far more effective. So BCAA supplements, as of right now, are more or less redundant. I don't really see a use case for them. EAAs do have a place, though, again, if your nutrition's on point, I don't really see the point, because if you've eaten a pre-workout meal, which has plenty of leucine, you've got amino acids circulating, those amino acids are going to be used immediately throughout and post-workout. So the need for this anabolic window, just to open another can of worms, there was a whole thing about an anabolic window. You've got 45 minutes to get protein in, complete BS. Because there's no difference having the protein straight after versus having them in the amino acids in your system prior to the session. So if you're fasted, like the chap who asked the question before, and you want to let's say between your session and you're doing some cardio after, then EAAs can work quite well. Or if you're doing fasted cardio, EAAs can again work quite well because they're anti-catabolic, so you won't burn muscle tissue because it's like you've had protein. But yeah, hopefully that clears that up, AO.
Yeah, mate. Thank you very much for the thorough answer. Appreciate it. Mimi, sorry for taking so long. Feel free to ask your question.
Oh, you're not forgiven. Anyways, my first question is actually like food related. I'm not sure if you you already know how I ask like a lot about food stuff. So I've had a lot of struggles like knowing what to eat before going to the gym. So like sometimes when I eat too much like a bread or something, then I'm at the gym and I just feel like my stomach is way too full, or it's just so heavy. Then when I'm doing an exercise, it's uncomfortable. But then when I eat just like a bowl of fruit, I also feel super hungry. I start getting dizzy. So then I'm just like, I'm in the middle where do I eat a bread? Do I eat fruit? Do I eat both? Do I eat nothing? Because I don't really know what I'm supposed to eat, especially if my body's just stupid, So
Yeah. Okay. Can I jump in with this, Chris?
Of course.
To speak from my experience. So what kind of foods do you have available to you prior to your session? Like, are you out of the house when you get your meal in, or are you at home so you can kind of have a broader array of food options?
okay, so I can be at home So right now I have been at home, but now that I'm going to go from school to the gym, I'm gonna have to get something from like the supermarket or something like that.
Okay. So I think so. You said fruit. You can feel dizzy. You're not getting enough kind of energy from it. I think something a little bit more slower release because fruit, it's very sugary, and that sugar kind of spikes insulin and then drops off a little bit more quickly. Bread can sit in the stomach a bit more. So what you could even do is pick up like an oat slash protein drink, something with oats in, which can, because it's liquid, it's going to sit on the stomach a little bit easier. And you could do that. I mean, oats are just great in general. Like a yogurt pot with oats would work well. I would just make sure that you've got enough time between eating to actually train in. So when you're having the bread, how long are you leaving it before you actually go to the gym?
Oh, sorry, repeat.
So let's say you have your bread and it makes you can feel it in your stomach whilst you're training.
Yes.
How long have you left it before you've actually gone to the gym?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna give a exact time. So I would leave the house at around 4:20, and I would eat at 4, and I'll reach the gym at like 5.
Okay, so it's a good hour.
Yeah.
Usually that's okay. I mean, an hour. Sometimes if it's a bigger meal, I like to leave it at least an hour and a half. But you've just got to find foods that work for you. So like you could try rice. White rice, I think, is amazing. It's one of my favorite meals
Don't put
in.
liquor in front of me.
So I'm a
I'm
big
so
fan
tired.
of the diet.
No, I'm just so tired of rice. I eat rice like everywhere. Just I can't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, oats are great. Um, really, you just got to find what works for you. Could be pasta, could be potatoes, could be anything which is a little bit more slow release. Oats, like just experiment, really. I guess obviously you've got to find something within the constraints of getting to the supermarket. So yeah, I think like maybe like a granola type thing could work really well, because it's quite calorie dense, but there's not a massive amount of food in granola, like volume wise. So it probably wouldn't sit in the stomach. Just experiment. Just experiment, really. If I don't know if Chris wants to add anything to that.
Wait, let me just add something. There was a time I would just literally come from school and just drink an energy drink and I would be fine. But then when I thought about it, like that is just so unhealthy, just drinking an energy drink, going to the gym with like nothing but an energy drink in your system. So then I stopped drinking energy drinks and now I feel the difference.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump in. I think it really just depends what works for you. And again, I'm gonna look at it. I look at the nutrition rather for the full day rather than in micro parts of it. So whatever makes you feel comfortable and gives you the energy to do your workout, you should have before the workout, really. So if you work, it sounds bad, but having energy drink just before a workout, if it gives you energy to get through it and you can train hard and then eat well before and after it, I don't think it's the end of the world. Um, a lot of it comes down to, it sounds like you're overthinking it quite a lot. I don't mean that in like a rude way or anything, but I think if you can find something that works for you, I personally have things quite light before a workout. I don't like to go in with a very heavy stomach. I'd rather be a little bit hungry in my workout rather than overly full. So I would have maybe like, I'd probably have an espresso half an hour beforehand. If I'm going to eat, I maybe have like an apple or something an hour beforehand. But then again, I've already eaten a good meal before that. So just anything that gets you enough energy and confidence to get through the session, really.
Yeah, because I would give me 1 second.
So many pauses.
No worries. Mimi, feel free
Sorry,
to
my
take. Okay, go ahead. No worries.
um so basically at school I would eat lunch and I would not be hungry till like the gym time. So that's how I would drink the energy drink. But then as soon as I came home, I would eat what my grandma would make for me. So then maybe that's why it didn't really affect me. But then I just thought it was really unhealthy for me to just drink an energy drink only by itself.
I
I mean,
mean,
it's not the. Go, James. Sorry,
yeah,
go, James.
nice one. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't deep it too much. Like, I'll sometimes go to the gym on an energy drink if I haven't eaten in a few hours, and it's usually fine. It's usually fine. I mean, that said, it's a zero sugar energy drink. I don't think banging 60 grams of sugar is ever a good idea. But like the odd white monster or something, I don't think it's going to kill you. Personally, probably not the most healthy thing in the world, but
Yeah,
if you're
I also
tolerating
don't think we should be worried about eating 100% clean all the time anyway. Like, I don't think it's worth stressing that much. I think you're going to get more damage to your system and affect your gains and fitness worse by stressing about it too much. At least my
Yeah.
rule is generally 80-20% rule. I don't eat completely clean every day. I eat some sort of sugary thing each day, but if it's part of the as a whole, I don't think it's an issue. And if you're having a good workout from it, as long as you're
I
eating well,
forgot
like I
to
said.
put an important point. I'm sorry I'm taking so long.
No, it's fine.
Put an important point. I have a heart condition. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay, that's not the kind of thing you throw in at the end of the, the main question.
After I've just told her to have a white monster.
Yeah, change your cancel, man. Okay. In which case, we are not doctors here. It's not medical advice. You might want to have something alongside it to maybe blunt the sugar response then, which protein would be a great thing to have alongside it. So any sort of like light protein you could have with maybe some Greek yogurt or something, just to blunt the insulin response, just to give your body something to work with as well. You don't really want to have a very high caffeine drink on an empty stomach, really. So if you have a small, nothing too heavy beforehand, maybe a bit of fruit, maybe a Greek yogurt, then with the energy drink, maybe half an energy drink, there may be a better way for you. But again, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. James, do you have any other non-medical advice to offer?
Maybe just avoid stims if they could potentially be an issue. But again, who knows? I don't really know the extent of your medical condition. So
Funny how everyone you to the face of you two when I said missed the important point. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
it's
just ask my
ridiculous,
last
I'm sure.
question before you go on. So unlike press, I have to go to the lowest point because I'm kind of short, so I have to go to the lowest point. But then on my like hips, it hurts like really bad when I'm going down, even like on the first like rep, you know. When I'm going down, I just feel like this sharp pain on my hips. I don't know if I should be feeling it. I don't know if it's because I'm just starting. Do you know?
sharp pain in the hips.
Like hip flexors? Like at the front?
Yeah.
Could that be an
Okay, in which
impingement?
case,
Maybe?
I think it sounds like you need to warm your hip flexors a bit more beforehand. Hip flexors are very common to have a lot of tightness there, especially if you go to school, if you work at a desk or something. You spend a few minutes warming your hip flexors, maybe some internal, external rotations of your hips. Maybe a couch stretch that should hopefully relieve a lot of it short term. But it sounds like it's just a hip tightness thing, which I think a lot of people have.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
No
welcome, James. Do
worries.
you want to chip in more on that, or is that roughly it, you think?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Experiment with your foot position as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're hitting a kind of glute dominant leg press or a quad dominant leg press, but maybe if you just find that movement doesn't really sit right with you, or that particular machine doesn't sit right with you in the way that you're hitting it, maybe you just change it up a little bit. Yeah, might just be worth
The
experimenting
issue
with.
with in machines is that like I'm really short, so I can't really do many machines because I don't reach them. So that's kind of my issue. So for me to be switching exercises, it's kind of rough because there's like nothing else I can do, you know what I mean? And then also because I have a knee injury, so then there's other exercises I can do. So it's really hard for me to switch out exercises to something else. So I'm just working through with the pain and maybe just thinking it's gonna go away.
Okay. Well, try a few different things. Also, experiment with your foot position as well. Sometimes having a foot pointing more in or more pointing out can be more or less stressful on the hip. So just try a few things out for that. That sounds quite challenging, though.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for showing up. Always a pleasure. Awesome. Now, if AO stops typing away, we can go to the next question. Who's next for the questions?
No worries. Thank you very much, Mimi. Some really good questions. Appreciate it. Mr. Henry V2, how you doing?
So, dude.
Hi, man.
First up, apologize for my shit European accent. Eastern Europe sucks, so my bad about that.
No, at all, man. Not at all.
I'm only gonna ask 2 questions because I sort of forgot I need to go buy chicken for my meal. So I'm probably gonna ask 2 and then just go back in and then ask other stuff later.
All good.
First one, which is probably one which I'm trying to figure out. So I basically started losing weight since December, and since February, I've been going something with my online coach. I basically have to end stuff with him because he's a prick, but
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain it. But
Yeah, fair.
so he's basically put me on a recomp scheme where I basically have one workout on Monday and then another one on Thursday, with including with core exercises on Friday and Tuesday. So my question with body recomping, because I do sadly have a beer belly because alcohol, like yeah, alcohol's cool to some extent. How much will, let's say, for example, walking 10,000 steps a day affect the recomping phase in a sense of will I lose strength, or is it generally just no advice to like do cardio as I'm recomping?
Okay. How should we do this, Chris? Shall I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So 10,000 steps a day is kind of arbitrary. All it is great for health, and it will bump up your calorie burn for the day. That's the way you should see it. It's just a tool to get more calories burned for the day. So it's going to put you into a slightly more of a deficit. So when you're recomping, typically you're eating around maintenance. It's a very slow process. It's a very slow process. So if you've got a bit of a beer belly, I mean, since you said he's a prick, I'm going to go out and say this because I'm not going to feel as bad now. Probably shouldn't have you recomping, in my opinion. It would probably make sense to go on a little mini cut at least to try and whip off some weight quite quickly. That's what I would recommend, a little tidy up phase, maybe a 6 to 10 week tidy up. Again, I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your body fat percentage is, all of this stuff. But yeah, like that would be my take on that. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about doing 10K steps. It's just a means of getting you into a bit more of a deficit. But then if you're trying to get into a deficit, you're essentially trying to get into a cut and actually drop weight. So it's kind of arbitrary. You could just eat less food and it would do the exact same thing from a body composition perspective. I'll hand it to Chris, though. I don't know if he's got anything to add.
If you don't mind me, just to add on, I think if I'm not wrong, the last time I think my body fat percentage should be somewhere around 28 to 30%. If it makes it any easier, I am like vertically gifted at 6'4" and pretty much dropped from 130 kilos from December all the way up. Now I'm I'm on 113. Although the way I did it is definitely not healthy because I ate once every 48 hours because I'm just dumb like that.
Okay, man. Thank you for the background. So I'm going to slightly different track. I think I agree with James a lot of these things, but I do think moving more is very good. So I think anytime 10,000 steps, like James says, is completely arbitrary. It was pulled out from this random guy who wanted to sell the pedometers in the first place. But I do think generally moving more is a good thing for everyone. Just to be more active. I think it's very good. I'm never going to tell someone to, sit still more. So I think moving more is good, but don't obsess too much about 10,000 calories. Just generally being active and moving is good. I do think that in your position, if acknowledge you've got a big gut, if you got extra bit of fat, I would probably recommend you going on a small deficit for a cut at least, losing some bit of fat just to be more confident in your body. I will say beer belly is a thing, like you said, alcohol. Not encouraging anyone to drink or anything, but if you are going to have alcohol of a fitness goal, it's often better to have clear spirits rather than beer and stuff, simply because beer can be more estrogenic and more likely to accumulate belly fat as well.
Oh, don't worry, I don't do beer, I do straight vodka.
I wasn't saying I was going to expect it, but it's not. It's on. It sounds quite on brand. Okay, so yeah, I think you should probably go for a cut at least, just more confident, get rid of that fat, and then you can go into recomp phase after that. Like James says, a recomp is quite a slow process. So if you want quick results and you want to get rid of that belly, the best thing to do would be to go in a cutting phase for at least a short period, I think.
If you need any, yeah, though it makes sense. If you do need some background, I do know from the days I'm supposed to work out, go to the gym. I hold up. I have a whole sheet on this. So I don't know. I don't know whole calories. Like I only know what type of macros I basically have to do. But
That's fine.
basically, when I'm supposed to go to gym, I have 250 carbs, 200 grams of protein, and like 80 grams of fat. And then basically for rest days, I only have like 100 carbs less. If that somehow makes, I don't know, any
Yeah, no, it's good to know.
sense.
It's good to know. It's good to know. So it sounds like you're almost doing different calories or at least different macros on rest days and workout days. I don't really like this. I think this is quite an outdated thing to do. It goes into carb cycling and things. I would rather see you eat consistently the same each day, I think, just because it's easier to keep track of what you're doing and energy levels from day to day. 250 grams of carbs is 1,000 calories. There's 4 calories for each gram of carbs. For protein, there's 4 grams per gram, so that's 800 calories there. So 1,800 calories. And what was the fat intake you say?
On no on what is this? On
On workout
days I'm
days.
working out 80.
80. 9 calories per gram of fat. So 8 times 9 is what we're talking about. Someone quick help me. 8 times 9 is 72. So 720 calories there. So we're looking about 2,500 calories on workout days. You're eating less on non-workout days.
So on non-workout days, I literally only have like 100 less carbs and like 20 less fat.
Okay, so you're eating less on non-workout days. So
Yeah.
and you're 6'4" and you're 100 and how much do you weigh?
At the moment I'm 113.2.
113 kilos. So that sounds like a quite a low calorie diet anyway to me for someone who's that tall of that weight, to be honest. So yeah, I'd be reevaluating that, to be honest. And how often are you training?
So I would say from like midnight all the way until like 2 in the morning, somewhere around that area. Maybe if I need to fix my form or something like that, which usually would take like extra 30 minutes, I would say I'm basically done with like workout at like 2:30 in the morning, somewhere around that area. I do also have this. I mean, this is gonna sound sort of cringe. I mean, it's fine. On Wednesdays, I have like national folk dance for like Croatia, which is basically like 2 hours of dancing pretty much. Although
Oh, cool.
I sort of know all of the moves, so I basically don't move that much. I'm basically a prick there. So, yeah.
Okay, and how many days are you actually lifting weights a week?
2 times.
2 times a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 days a week, you're training for probably about 2 to 3 hours by the sounds of it, and then some cardio once a week as well. So,
No,
again,
there's no cardio. No. There's no cardio.
cardio are dancing, I'm counting this.
So, well, yeah, but I also have like what's it called, core exercises, which I'm supposed to do Tuesdays and Fridays. But I'm sort of debating just bunching them all together into one day.
Okay, I don't want to talk smack about another coach, but your program sounds really weird.
Oh, you can shit talk my coach. It's completely fine.
It is not something I'd recommend. It's not something I'd recommend, let's put it that way. I would recommend you getting on a general beginner intermediate training program, trying to build some muscle and going on just a cutting phase for a while, to be honest, man. It sounds like your training is kind of all over the place and weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's why I pretty much just decided to basically end it as it is.
Yeah. So I'd say probably pick a program from the I routine here. I'm sure someone can put that for us for the routines. Maybe something 3 to 4 days a week if you're happy to do that. I'd rather not see you training for 2 hours. It's quite a long time, to be honest. If you don't really need to train for more than an hour and a half, if you're training 3 or 4 times a week, to be honest.
I do I know the only reason why it's 2 hours, and it's because I somewhat go into like a phase where I would what's it called? My rest between exercises is either way too long or either way too short. So trying to time myself with like maybe giving 2 minutes between each set, like to basically rest up. And like I basically have like per gym session I have like 11 exercises, which should be like 10 reps, like 3 sets.
Yeah, so it adds up very quickly. Yeah, it adds up a lot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, and also because I don't even know if I can say this. I basically film it So I just have it as like a diary to see how much I progress, and then B, like just putting it out there online. That's pretty much the reason why I
Yeah,
take 2
sure.
hours.
Yeah, so 11 exercises of each. Well, it's hard. So if you're only training twice a week, you're going to have more exercises and sets per training session, aren't you? Because you're not splitting it up as much. If you did it, say, 3 times a week, you'd have fewer exercises and you'd get through the workout faster. So I really recommend looking at something that's maybe 3, maybe 4 days a week if you have time for that, and cutting the sessions down to maybe an hour and a half for each.
Well,
that's what I recommend.
I could do 3. The question is, well, how between the sets, let's say for example, if I have like specific rest times, stuff like that, would it be bad to basically go from, I don't know, like I basically go exercise for like a hour and a half on a Sunday and then basically go do the same thing on a Monday, but like do other exercises? Is that like way too quick, or I need longer rest times?
I think it depends. Depends on a few things. Your volume, your proximity to failure are going to be probably the 2 main things. Whether you're training in stretch position exercises as well, because you're going to induce more muscle damage. If you're training in more contracted positions, you're probably not going to be recovering for as long, so you could probably get away with HIIT coming in again the next day. If you need to train that way, it would be viable if you couldn't split the days up to where you've got an actual day of rest in between the sessions. If you're running that kind of approach, though, I would keep the volume extremely low per muscle group, and that tells me you'd probably be running like a full body split or something like that.
I mean, I can probably show the entire plan I'm supposed to have, but like I don't want to take extra time if people want to have to ask some. Maybe I can show it later if I do come back. Although,
For sure.
I'll tell you what, bro, just to stop you there before you carry on, if you want to drop me a message, I don't mind taking a look over it like after the fact, and then I can just give you some advice on it if you want.
Yeah, sure, I don't mind. But I was gonna add on to this. So if the how to explain, because of anxiety, and that's like one of the reasons why I go from like midnight, is basically the days I have my workouts are pretty much avoiding weekends when there's way too many people there, because I've seen enough like videos of like people making fun of other people when they're filming in the gym and stuff like that. So one of the fears for me is I just don't feel like I can go to gyms like Friday, Saturday, because way too many people. If I go on a Sunday at midnight, I know people have to work on Monday, so it gives me like enough time to do. So I don't know how I can stretch it. The only way I could do it is if there's a way to do my core exercises, which I basically have like 2 days, if I can do all core exercises in one go. So I don't know if that's even possible, like time-wise, I guess. Like I basically have to just see how I'm like time-wise with it. I mean, I can probably do it. I wouldn't mind it. Like as long as I don't sit in front of my PC and try to break my controller playing FIFA, it works out. What was it? Like, you know what? I need to go back check. I'm stressing about this way too much. I'll just come back and ask questions later.
Okay,
It should be like
no worries,
30
man.
minutes.
Yeah, drop us a message. Drop me and James a message. We'll help you out. Anxiety can be hard to manage, but there's definitely a way to find a less stressful way to train. So we'll sort you out, man. No worries. Thanks for the questions.
Yes. Yeah. Cheers. I'll be back. Okay, Arnold. I see you in a
Very
bit.
Arnold.
One.
See you later, man.
Yeah, see you, Arnold. Thanks for the questions. Really do appreciate you. Quickly, next question. Let's go. Actually, huge shout out to these 2 amazing guys helping answer your questions. I actually haven't done his rhyme, have I? Guys, remember, if you want to get huge arm gains, he doesn't play any games. Reach out to Coach James. Yo, guys, huge shout out to James. Thank you very much. Thanks for showing up. I do appreciate it's Easter. I know a bunch of us has probably got stuff going on. Guys, reach out to James if you need any fitness help, as he's helping us. Let's also support him as well. And we have got an event coming soon to help you all get huge arm gains, just like James. Remember, it isn't strike first, it isn't strike force, It is strength first. Make sure to support Chris STR first on all platforms. Yeah, Ayo's getting into it, bro. Mate, these Techno looking huge. Techno should probably join James's what do we call it? Arm event. Yeah, dude, these freaking rhymes, mate. I am a marketing genius, and I've done this for free, right? And it's getting clipped, it's freaking being put on ads and all these other stuff. So, hey, I do what I do. I'm a humble person. Right. I see. How you doing, dude? Can you ask your question?
Oh my god, oh my god. I've been here for an hour now. Okay, so the reason I want to ask a question again is because like a person that I know, he cannot talk from the mic. So like I'm gonna say what he want to say. Wait, give me a second. He said, "Hi, I want to be a new person by the end of summer. I want to gain muscles and lose weight. What should I do?" He's 17 meters, 69 kg, 5'6". Should I cut? And he's the age of 17. He eat rice every day cause he's from the Philippines. And he said he do morning walks sometime. He don't. So generally he don't work out. And he said he don't plan to go to the gym cause he have social anxiety, and maybe he might do home workout will walk, and maybe he might run. I think wait. Yeah, he's also a 17 mil. He's a 17 mil. And I think he's trying to bug or cat, and he's currently right now on a calorie the I don't know how to pronounce that, but you get it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you want to go, James, or should I?
You go ahead.
Sure. So it sounds like it's wanting to get the fitness, which is really good. The basic things you need to take care of the basics by the sounds of it.
Oh, also he eats what his mom cooks, so I don't think he can control his diet that much.
Okay. That's one of the tough things when you're young and you have to depend on other people for what you eat. It can be quite challenging. In that case, the best thing you can do is just be more active and getting some training in. Just get some workouts in. Doesn't have to be very complicated. If you're training at home, if you want to be around people with anxiety, that's understandable. That's fine. I would look into doing some basic body weight training. Getting good at press ups, getting good at doing body weight squats, doing some ab work, maybe even getting some calisthenics and stuff. I'm sure there's a link we can have for a workout here for calisthenics training at home. But doing the basics, sticking to it. He wants to get into some running, that's very good. Easy running each day is very good to do. A couple of times a week for a harder run, maybe. But just be more active, build it up slowly, and when you get more control over your diet, you can make some more changes after that. What do you think, James?
Yeah, man, I think do what you can. I mean, if he's not going to the gym, then you're fairly limited. But obviously, yeah, just calisthenics is the next best thing, isn't it? Really, just getting strong at the body weight stuff. Maybe picking up some dumbbells, a pull-up bar, maybe some resistance bands. That's probably going to take you a long way. Yeah, I'd say I just agree with what Chris said, to be honest.
So is that all for him? Like, final statement?
I think that's the basics. Just get the basics in, get some movements in, get into some body weight training, start light, and then move into adding reps, adding some sets, looking into doing more skill-based things in calisthenics, and then trusting the process. Doing some cardio each week is very good as well. There's no reason you can't make a great physical transformation following these simple steps, honestly. It's just doing the basics.
My mic doesn't work. Hi there, mate. Can you hear me? Like at first it was glitching.
We can hear you if that helps.
I also wanna okay. I also wanna ask another question about like height differences. Let's say that you're 5'8" and like your friend is 5 foot. I'm 6 foot. Like for like growing muscles, like is it really gonna affect the shape? Because like I heard that tall people, since I'm almost 6 foot right now, I don't know how, but like their muscles won't be big as short people because like that's like muscles can only fill up for your bones to a certain point.
Okay, so of course we got the bingo for the height question each time. There's no real difference, honestly. If you're taller, it will take longer to look more filled out. So it's not actually harder for tall people to build muscle. That's a thing, a lie tall people like to tell you. It's hard to build muscle. It's not. It simply takes longer to look more filled out. And also, if you have a bigger frame, you can also carry more muscle in the long term. And if you're worried about actual being a certain weight, that can be an issue. But bodybuilding and aesthetics is all about looks and appearance. So I'm 5'8", my arms are not super huge. But if someone had these arms on someone who's 6 foot tall, they'd look much smaller. It's all about ratios and proportions. So again, you may look a bit more filled out if you're shorter, but it's not going to make a big difference overall.
Would the muscle mass and mass be the same, even like for the height difference? Because I know a shorter guy that has bigger muscles than me.
So it's a difference between muscle mass and how it looks. So if I say I'm 5'8", if I weigh 80 kilos, if I weigh 75 kilos, I'm going to look more muscular than someone who's 6 foot tall with 75 kilos. It can be distributed differently. So that's all the difference is. So a taller person is going to have to generally carry more weight to look comparatively muscular to a smaller person. Is that right, James?
Wait, what about David Ladd? What about David Ladd? Like, is it because he used steroids?
David Ladd is not a natural athlete.
Yeah, he's not natural for one, and he's got elite genetic like insertions. He looks insane. You know, he's got such a physique that within probably 1 year of training, he was looking better than guys who've been training 5 years with suboptimal genetics because his bone structure is so good. He's got such wide delts, you know, wide clavicles. He's got that natural V taper, right? And his ab genetics are insane. So, yeah, I mean, look at that GIF. He looks crazy. So it's like, I will never look like that because my genetics don't allow for it. It doesn't matter how big I get or how shredded I get. I will never have that shape. So a lot of it is just the way someone looks is just it's an illusion, right? It's bodybuilding is an illusion, right? It doesn't really mean anything. It's just the way you look because of proportions and symmetry and body fat percentage and bone length, right? Like someone with short arms, that's one of the reasons I look like I have bigger arms is because the actual length of the bone isn't as long. So if I had the same amount of muscle on a longer bone, this is essentially what Chris is getting at, it won't look as big. That's why taller guys with taller and bigger frames need more muscle to look comparatively as big as the shorter guys.
Oh.
So it clears it up.
Oh, also like, you know, since I took an hour for this person, I learned 4 new words. First is dynamic stretching, static stretching, pre-workout, and cardio diversity. I have never, to be honest, I've never heard of those, but since I stick around, I found out. And thank you so much. See ya.
No worries.
I'm really glad you benefited from it. Hope you see you again.
Oh, really like you.
Also, I want to say to Ayo that.
Oh no, fuck.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I said hi there, mate, by the way.
Oh, okay, that's good. I thought you were about to roast me. Like, actually, I want to say to you, yeah, fucking hate you, kid. That's right. No, thanks for joining, mate. I like your honesty and like your innocence. And happy that Chris and James have helped you learn something new. Yeah, thank you, mate. And thanks for asking questions for your friends. Guys, I understand that these guys are 2 freaking Giga Chad nerds. I'm not gonna lie, 99% of the time when they're talking, I have ChatGPT open up, translating what they're saying. So if you do want to get the podcast in a slow down version and the full VOD, remember it's twitch.tv/AO King. And let's try and speed run through the remaining. Why isn't it coming up with the embed? Let's try and speed run through the remaining questions. Next person is Gio. Jesus Christ, Gio's been waiting for almost 2 hours, maybe. But also, huge shout out to everyone. Love you all. This is actually literally the best podcast. A lot of questions, some solid questions. Might be a bit longer. Sorry, James. Sorry, Chris. I don't know if that's too much of an issue. If it is, feel free to spam me in the DMs. But I appreciate the turnout. We had a really good turnout. It's always the ones you least expect, right? Even though I did spam the server like 3 times. But yeah, thank you all. Appreciate you. Go, Gio. Quick.
Holy yap. Okay, it's my turn now. Stop yapping. That wasn't serious, by the way. Okay, so give me a program to make me taller right now. That was a joke.
First step. Go back in time. Pick different parents.
That was a joke.
Wait. I've got a timeout. Sorry, guys. I don't normally interrupt. I'm not the type to interrupt.
Is that true?
Gio, wait. So you waited 1 hour, right? just to join, just to be toxic, and just to ask the most useless question ever. How are you even a staff member? Can someone please answer this question?
I have
Why
legitimate
haven't you been
questions.
banned? No, mate, we're not going through this. Someone put a poll in the chat right now. Should Gio, I can't even remember his name. He's so useless. Should he be banned from the server permanently? Right? Okay. No, I'm just kidding, mate. Go ahead. Ask a proper question. We haven't got that much time
Okay.
left.
Okay, so we know that a clean diet is pretty important for health, but how important? Okay, no, let me rephrase this question. How okay, yeah, how important is a clean diet just specifically in the gym if all your macros are hit properly?
Oh, so we're going for a IIFYM question.
Yeah.
So, are we going first, James, or not? Who's jumping first?
I can jump in first on this one.
Go for it.
I think, let's say you've got two diets then. One is 100% clean, one is not.
What's clean, James?
But
What's
the
clean?
macros are equated. Okay, so clean foods are single ingredient foods typically, not full of sugar, you know, full of veg, fruits, meat, clean carbs, low GI carbs, etc. So that's diet A. And then diet B is potentially 70-30, 80-20. You've got the odd Pop Tart in there, to use the old classic IFWM as example, maybe some cereal. Is there going to be a performance difference in the gym? Okay, well, I would say the only, provided calories and macros are equated, the only real difference in my mind is going to be the quality of the pre-workout meal, which may potentially have an impact. So if you were to eat junk prior to, so that 30% of diet B, which is non-clean food, if that was to kind of make up that pre-workout meal and you had some more junky food, potentially you might spike your energy too fast because it's high GI carbs, potentially void of fiber, potentially gonna get up super fast, blood sugars that is, and then they're gonna spike, crash down. In that instance, that may be an issue, but honestly, I really don't think it's worth considering. Like, I'd say just have, here we go back to the oats thing. If you've got like a bowl of oats, or you've got
Oat
pasta,
grinder.
rice, or whatever it is.
We need an oat ad.
Yeah, we do. If you just have a quality pre-workout meal, like, that's really what matters. If calories and macros are equated, I really wouldn't worry at all. I don't think it's going to matter too much. And you can still have a great workout if you eat a Pop-Tart prior to training. I think you might just have slightly more slower energy release from your oats. But yeah, I don't know if Chris wants to answer this.
Did it on purpose now. So, I think James makes a good point, but I do think there's a difference between having a clean diet that's actually full of micronutrients as well, and opposed to eating some crap as well. So I think not to brag, I think my diet's pretty good. I make sure I hit all my macros and I hit lots of micronutrients as well. So that means I make sure I get in greens, I get in my vegetables, I get in my magnesium, my zinc, fiber, things like that. So, but then also each day I have some sort of, something you'd consider not clean. So like some sort of sweet treat or something. That I think is perfectly fine. I think, again, I don't want to glaze myself too much. I think that's kind of the optimal diet because it gives your gut the enough rich biome to be able to digest all these foods all the time. So I think if you're hitting all of your nutrient basis as well as your macro basis, so I think fiber is massively underrated by almost everyone. I think everyone needs to increase their fiber, really. I think that will lead you to better health, and I do think that will lead to better gains overall. But I do think that's so in that way, I think that's better. So I don't think having 100% clean is perfect, honestly. I think having a bit of junk in there is actually probably better and more optimal, and also what's more likely to happen for real people in the real world. However, I wouldn't stress that to start with. For people getting into fitness for the first place, I would say focus on your macros and then go from there. Does that help, Gio?
Yeah. Okay. Second question. That was pretty useful, by the way. Thank you. Okay. So hitting your macros. Okay, that's easy. My question is, how bad is Well, I know it's bad, but how quickly can neglecting your micros catch up to you in the gym?
That's a tough
That's a
one,
good
man.
question.
That's a tough one. I don't think we can
I-
give you a proper answer for that one. We're not doctors, medical professionals here. Also, it depends what you mean by can catch up with you. To be honest, I think most people would be.
Just performance wise.
I'll put it
give
this way.
a
I
couple
think
of insights, non-medical advice, but I can give a couple of insights if that would
Go, James.
at least that spring up in my mind. So, from a micronutrient perspective, if you're not getting iodine or selenium, your thyroid is probably going to be potentially affected by that. If you've got an underactive thyroid, then it's going to have a downstream effect on a couple of different processes. I wonder if it would affect your LH. I'm not 100%. I'm just wondering from a hormonal perspective, you know, what might jump up your SHBG. I know if your carbs are too low, you can drive up SHBG. I wonder if certain nutrients being too low can drive up SHBG. I know if zinc isn't there, then, and even magnesium as well, but especially zinc, then your test levels are most likely going to be a bit too low. Well, they're not going to be optimal if zinc isn't there. And because then your test levels aren't optimal, your aggression in the gym might not be there, right? If your masculine hormones, if your androgen binding, your androgens binding to the receptors, if you haven't got as many there and your AR expression is impaired, that's actually going to affect your aggression. So if you actually do a little bit of research into androgen receptor expression and things you can do to increase AR, not only from a kind of sub-spinal perspective, so like this body, but also supraspinal, so what happens in the brain, that can actually improve your workouts because it can increase motor unit recruitment. So that's something that's a little bit underrated. The attitude that you take into a session and your ability to kind of turn on the neural drive and your motivation, that will actually increase the amount of reps you get via more motor unit recruitment, and therefore increasing motor unit recruitment and giving you more gains. So that's kind of just a bit of a tangent, but yeah, like if you're not getting certain micronutrients, bodily processes will start dropping off, and there's a downstream cascade of effects. As for the timeline, honestly, not sure, but it's just not worth playing around with, man. Just take your sups. Like I would recommend, like Chris says, Zinc-A-Mag, absolute essentials. Take those. Pre-bed is great. Make sure they're taken ideally with. Make sure the forms are right. So, like if you're taking zinc and magnesium, I like zinc monomethionine, and I like magnesium bisglycinate. So it's bound to a glycine molecule. In the case of magnesium, if they're bound to amino acids like a glycine molecule, they cross into the they cross through the gut a little bit easier. They're absorbed a bit more effectively. So certain things will have an impact with regards to the actual types of those supplements. So that's something to look into as well. But that's going beyond the scope of your question entirely. So I'll wrap mine up there before I go off on a massive tangent again and then pass it to Chris.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
James
want to
made a lot
say
of
I thank you a lot because you've opened the whole new thing I could research for me with
Yeah,
the
man, interesting.
You say thank you now, but when you finish
androgen
work.
receptor expression, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
androgen
looked interesting.
expression.
Yeah, I'm not much to
Okay,
add to
sorry,
James
Chris,
to
you
that.
can.
Yeah, I don't know much to add. James kind of went over a lot of things there very helpfully. So I will just quickly say I don't think there's really a timeline for will I feel a negative detriment, but I think a lot of people can stand to optimize their nutrition and will feel a benefit in their workouts from it. I don't necessarily know you'll feel an absence of it, but you'll definitely feel a presence when it's there. But thank you for the question, Gio.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, man.
Okay, last question is more towards powerlifting. So I've been thinking of doing a tempo bench press as an assistance lift for my regular pause bench press on a different day. And I wanted to get your opinion on uh, if whether it's valid to do it, whether it's better to do than different variations, if it's worth trying or not, and what yeah, that's my question basically.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying. I think tempo has a lot of benefits of powerlifting. It keeps you controlled. It works on your everything in your form. Really makes you dial your form in. I think it's valid to try. I'm not saying it's going to be better or worse than anything else, but I would keep it on a more practice is always a good thing for it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefit to doing it. Even if you then shift to something else afterwards, I do think there's a lot of benefit to doing a tempo bench. Yeah, for sure. And Breed says spiritual press. Yeah, different exercise though for sure. Spiritual press is very good, but I think tempo gives you a different kind of appreciation for the movement as well. Why not both? Why not both? To press a lot, you have to press a lot. So, sure.
That was my last question.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
you,
you a
Gio.
lot.
Always good to hear from you, man. Always good to hear from you. Oh, I am dying here. I'm sorry. I'm on my last legs at the moment.
Sorry. Do you have to go, Chris? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, really shortly.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll stay on for another. I mean, if we're going to be on for a little bit, I don't mind holding the fort for a bit.
There's only really 2 questions left. Guys, is there anybody else who had any questions?
We can power through 2. We can power through 2.
Okay, that's amazing. Please, guys, be quick with your questions. Don't worry. If you do want to ask more questions, feel free to DM the guys. Techno, go ahead. Smash it quickly. Go, quick. Unmute yourself. Go. No pressure.
Thank you. All right. We're gonna start with triceps, right? So they refused to grow, and I don't know why. And I was wondering if I was doing anything wrong, or if I should do any other different exercises or anything.
Dangerous for you, man.
What exercises are you doing right now? And when are you doing them?
So I do tricep extensions, bench press, and some dumbbell variations of things. But I don't know. I never really feel it in triceps, or even when I'm trying to do chest at the same time with like bench press or incline. I don't know. I never really feel it because like I do the workout and then afterward, yeah, I'm tired and do all the things. But whenever I go home next day, I'm never sore. It doesn't ever hurt. And I don't know. I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Okay. First thing I would say, bro, I'm gonna shamelessly plug this. I've got an event called Armed and Dangerous coming up very soon, and it's literally gonna answer that exact question. So on the 28th, we're launching it. What's that, Chris?
He's not gonna answer it now.
There's quite a lot to go there. I can give you a little answer, but that will be answered in more detail there, right? So I would definitely keep your eye out for that. We're going to start promoting it soon. 28th is the plan that are going to drop it. That's TBC, but I'm pretty sure we're going to lock in the 28th of April on that one. So definitely get involved with that. But to kind of briefly go over this now, I'd say potentially you need to do different variations. So when you say tricep extensions, in my mind, that can mean a few different things. Is that like a skull crusher?
Is it rope extension or?
Well, I do skull crushers, but not often. Usually I do cable extensions, either with the angled bar, or I don't really like straight bar, hurts my wrists. So I do typically angle bar, or do single bar just straight on the cable, no rope, or arm, no bar.
Okay, cool. So I would say if you were to do an overhead movement and really prioritize your overhead work, you're going to hit the long head a lot more, because the long head is responsible. It's the only head of the tricep which is responsible for shoulder extension doing this. So I personally, one of my favorite mass builders is like a modified PJR pullover. So I'll put the bench on like a slight incline, maybe a 30-degree incline. I'll grab a heavy dumbbell. I'll come right the way down and I'll extend up. Okay. So that, in fact, I'm going to drop a video in the chat so you can see. That for me is just absolutely killer. Like, you're going to get bigger triceps if you load that shit and you grow and you just get strong on that movement, and you grow your weights in that movement. From a volume perspective, I think there's a lot of dogma surrounding volume. So, you know, a lot of the physiology guys will say more volume doesn't really make any sense. One set essentially to failure is going to give you one arbitrary unit of hypertrophy. 5 more will give you the next arbitrary unit. So theoretically, you'll get double the growth if you do 6 sets versus 1. So depending on how your split is set up, you could potentially add in a bit more volume. I don't know how many total sets for tries you're actually doing in that particular session, and I don't know how many times you're hitting your triceps in your split over the week, but increasing your frequency can potentially help with that as well, provided you're recovered from the last session. So frequency and volume definitely play a role. And picking movements that you really do connect with. I know, like, again, the physiology guys say, I think I touched on this in the last podcast, they say, you know, neuromechanical matching is all that really matters. But I think anecdotally, that's not necessarily the case. I think if you feel a movement massively in the muscle and you don't feel other movements in the muscle, it probably doesn't make sense for you to keep doing those movements you don't feel and switch to the movements that you really do feel. So from a push down, the one that I feel the most is when it's a crossing cuffed push down. So you get cuffs on the wrists. You could just use handles, but cuffs work great. You set the cable like a narrow cable station, set them here and here. You pull them down opposite sides and then you press down like that, right? You feel that shit loads. So that could be your push down variation. You could maybe do an overhead variation, like I said there. So the PJR pull over, like I said, or you could do a French press going up overhead. That's a great one. Or even a cable skull crusher works well, or a normal skull crusher, anything where you're going overhead and then a dip. A dip is also an absolute crazy mass builder. Load a dip. Ideally, not a dip where you are strapping weight to yourself. They can work really well, but I think personally, I've seen better gains when you're actually locked into a machine. You've got either a seatbelt on or something on, which is locking you in. You can just really focus and like grind out the reps. If you can just take that and just get ridiculously strong, you're going to grow your tries. And if they're not growing, add a bit more volume in. Potentially change up your frequency a little bit. Add in another tricep day. So you could prioritize your triceps. If you're really trying to build them up, here's a little tip you could do. Put your tricep work before your push day, your pull day. Okay, so it's not really going to affect any of your pulling motions unless you're absolutely killing yourself and you go into balls out failure, doing drop sets, all kinds of stuff. Like maybe leave one RAR and a few sets, and then go into your pulling work. It's not really going to affect any of your pulling workout, but actually you're going to get a damn good stimulus and you're going to be really, really strong on your tries. So it just might be a prioritization thing. That's another tip that I would say. If they're lagging, you're trying to build them up, place them at the start of your pulling sessions. But yeah, I've kind of gone off on a tangent again. But I hope that's been helpful, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try some of the alternate things. I've been messing around with it for a bit and I haven't found one. Haven't found one that I quite like yet. So we'll see.
Sure. I'll quickly jump in and say it doesn't sound like you're doing much overhead work, so I would make a focus to make a change from doing the regular push downs to overhead for a while, get a really good stretch, and I would say work on getting a really good stretch at the bottom of it. So get a deep stretch, probably use an angled bar if you're having issues with a straight bar. Just get a really good stretch, don't be afraid to sit in the bottom movement for a second and then contract hard. And change your rep ranges. But yeah, I think James got you covered for the full upcoming Armed and Dangerous, by the sounds of it.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks for the question, Techno. Really do appreciate you. If you have more questions, feel free to DM Chris or James, and also look forward to the event. We're gonna get the last voice question. Fade. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Really do appreciate you waiting. Everybody else, feel free to ask in the text chat. And also, huge shout out to everyone. Amazing turnout this week. This is the first week we've had to end early with more questions happening. Normally we have like these random awkward silences where we're like, guys, please ask questions. So this is good progress. And thanks to everyone for supporting the community. And look out for the giveaways. I'll probably announce the giveaway separately after. Yeah, ask your question. Go.
I have two simple questions. The first one is, how many sets should I do and how many reps? I see like on TikTok people saying 1 set is enough. People saying like you need to do at least 2 sets, at least 3 sets, and then reps. I have no idea.
James?
Sorry, mate. I was completely distracted by the chat. Could you repeat yourself? That's my fault.
How many sets and reps should I be doing? Because I see everywhere like different information. Like I only need to do 1 set of 5 reps, or I need to do 2 sets of like 7 reps. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, context is important here. What are your goals? What's your split?
Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. What's your split?
I just do 2 every muscle group twice a week. It's
Twice
an
a
odd
week.
split. I made it myself.
That's cool. No, twice a week's good. Okay. How are you splitting those sessions up? Is that twice a week full body? Is that upper lower?
No, it's 4 times a week. I do on one session I do legs and chest and shoulders, and on the other I do back, biceps, and triceps.
Legs and shoulders, back, buys, tries. Okay. What about chest?
And chest, sorry, with shoulders.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I think low volume. I've made a bunch of games doing low volume. I don't think you need to train high volume. I don't think high volume makes sense from a physiological standpoint. The muscle
That's how many
physiology.
like sets.
Yeah, like doing lots of sets. I don't think is a great idea. I think higher quality sets and doing fewer of them, where you're effectively you're getting stimulating reps that actually are high mechanical tension reps. Those are the reps that actually count. So like the guys that said, oh, the reps that hurt, like they're the ones that count. That's not true. The reps that slow down, when you're getting towards the latter stages of a set, if you're in a higher rep range, or the reps that are just slower because you're approaching failure, they're the ones which actually are the ones which have high tension. And if they have high tension, then we actually stimulate growth and hypertrophy. Okay, so tension is the most important thing. So I think it makes sense to get away. Like the way I approach my training is I'll try and like get away with a little bit more, because I know, like I said before, if I can go up towards that 6 sets versus 1 set, like 6 sets is going to give me more hypertrophy objectively than 1 set. So like if I can get away with a little bit more and it's not affecting my training, because I'm going to induce more muscle damage, which means I'm going to have supraspinal fatigue, and there's other, which is a form of fatigue. Basically, it's about fatigue minimization. Like that's really, really important, and doing more work, unless there's just so many fucking factors that go into it. Like I could just go on.
Yeah, it's a big last question, man.
Yeah, it's a really tough one, because like there's various different things that induce more fatigue, and it's like
drop sets, yeah.
Oh yeah,
hold over kettle of fish.
Yeah. Drop sets I think are not worth doing. I mean, I say
Not
that,
worth
but
doing.
like, it's one of them. It's again, it comes back to this anecdote thing I keep mentioning, because it's like drop sets don't really make a lot of sense at all physiologically, because they cause a whole bunch of muscle damage. You get way less motor unit recruitment in the subsequent
Isn't
sets.
muscle damage good? Isn't that the whole point?
No, muscle damage is bad. Muscle damage does nothing for
okay.
hypertrophy. It impairs hypertrophy essentially. So, because it basically it causes brain level fatigue, which is supraspinal fatigue. So if you have muscle damage, then your brain actually the central motor command is inhibited, which is essentially the signal which goes to the muscle down a whole stream of effects that actually causes you to be able to fire a muscle. So through motor unit recruitment. So yeah, it's not a good thing. Like they used to think that muscle damage built muscle, and they used to think that fatigue mechanisms built muscle. And a lot of these hypertrophy guys think that fatigue types of fatigue build muscle. That's not true, because all types of fatigue cause a reduction in motor unit recruitment, and that's the only thing that matters. So getting a pump doesn't build muscle. There's zero evidence that shows it builds muscle. So it's like, oh, metabolic stress, I got a massive pump. It's like, yeah, you've just caused afferent feedback telling your brain to not fire the muscle as hard in the subsequent sets. And you've got calcium ion related fatigue in that muscle now, because it's peripheral fatigue essentially in that muscle. stopping you from being able to activate the high threshold motor units, which then means you can't get as much mechanical tension in those subsequent sets. So so yeah, man, there's a lot to this. But generally speaking, volumes keep the volumes fairly low. Are
So
you
like
growing?
three sets, 2 sets.
Yeah, man, like 2 sets is great. You could do like a top set and a back off set, maybe, depending on what kind of rep ranges you're working. Did you ask about reps as well, or was it just sets?
Reps, I know I need to stay like around 7 to 10 reps, right? Around
That's
You
fine
could
to
get away
start
with
with,
going
yeah.
lower. Yeah,
I'd
if you
say-
want to. Yeah, it depends on your how advanced you are. I think if you're still learning the movements, maybe not going super heavy,
Yeah,
and like
I'd
going down
say-
to like 5 reps. But yeah,
Yeah, I would say generally go for around 8 to 12, and then probably 12 hard sets per work body part a week, probably. As a starting point, and then go from there. No, disagree. Have I crashed? Or is it
Hello?
just me?
No, you're still here. I think he's
Okay.
Cool.
I'm sorry, man. I already have to dip.
Yeah. That's all right, Chris. Really do appreciate you guys. Remember, it isn't strike first, it isn't strike force, it is strength first. Thank you to everyone who's asked questions. Really do appreciate you. See you, Chris. Hope you have an amazing Easter. Yeah, take care, mate. Take it. See ya. James does say he can stay for a little bit. So if there are any lightning round, what did I just say? If there are any lightning round questions, feel free to ask. I can see someone who's raised their hand. Please be quick. And guys, while we're waiting, there is an ongoing giveaway. Make sure to join. It's a nice way for you guys to win. Nice nitro. And happy Easter.
I completely forgot my hand was still up, not gonna lie. Real quick, because I know I talked about the prick coach earlier. Because I do have to quit him, and because I'm not financially viable, what could I possibly do to either see if I need to do progressive or load, like let's say for example exercise, if I can put my kgs up, or if I need to switch things up? Like, what's the best way to look at like stuff that I need to change?
Wait, so if the goal is progressive overload, you're asking what do you need to look at the program and potentially change if you're not seeing.
So for example, if I'm doing, I don't know, like I know that flat press, I can like obviously as I get stronger do more heavier stuff like that. But with the current exercises that I have, at which point do I know that like I need to maybe change an exercise or anything along those lines? Like, how would I go about it? Like, do I just search it up online, or do I just look somewhere for it?
Sorry, bro, say that again for me.
So if let's say for example, I have 11 exercises. Out of 11 exercises, I know I can hit 9 perfectly, and I'm struggling with 2 exercises. How can I look into other exercises out of those 2 that I'm not good at to maybe potentially switch it with something else?
Okay. You could definitely look online, man. I mean, if you're not obviously asking someone like me or you're your coach or whatever, you could definitely look online. I mean, honestly, ChatGPT is a really good resource. It's actually got some very good information on there. It's actually fairly, in my experience, like looking on it, it's actually fairly clued up with a lot of the actual up-to-date science and things. So, and I mean, not that you'd really need that anyway for just asking, which I'm doing this exercise right now. I want to change it. Can you give me some alternatives? You can absolutely do that. Or watch some of the greats on YouTube, man. I think John Meadows has some really great YouTube videos. That's a really good resource you can go to. He's always given out brilliant exercises. So yeah, John Meadows' channel, rest in peace. He was an awesome guy in the industry. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there. There's a lot of great YouTubers. You can learn a lot from YouTube. Yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, definitely ask GPT, because it will give you a response like straight away. If you just say I'm struggling with this, I want another exercise similar. Can you give me some? I think it will definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I got what you mean. Also, just to add on to it, but quickly, do I need to look from science perspective like Jeff Nippert, or do I need to look from like Jim Bros type videos? Like, or do I just mix both?
I think when it comes to exercise selection, I wouldn't worry too much because that's not. I don't think it's as important where you find it. I think you just need to try the movement out, and provided you can stay, have the ability to progress it very well, and it's hitting the target muscle, that's really all that matters. So, you know, I think a lot of different creators are going to have different takes on what exercises are good or not. But yes, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah, I gotcha. That'll pretty much be it. I will probably DM you later for the stuff that I said earlier because I'm genuinely curious about a few things.
Cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
no,
that'll be it.
it's fine. No problem. No problem. Drop me a DM.
All right, appreciate it. Yep, we'll do.
Perfect. Really do appreciate you, dude. And thanks for coming back. Yeah, this guy literally went to the store, went to get chicken, got back, still had time to ask us questions. Gosh, how long has this podcast been going on for? Hey, wow, dude, you know what? Now Chris showed up. Yo, there's no bad mouthing, Chris. Yo, you know what? I'm snitching. I've got evidence. Chris is insulting you. I have evidence. There we go. Guys, are there any other questions? Does anyone want to ask any last minute question? Podcast is coming to an end. There is the giveaway. Make sure to join. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Taking questions. It sounded like a freaking what is it called? Was it auction? Is it auction hosts? What are they called? James, help me out here. What's the name of the people who do auction hosts? I don't know. Where's Chris?
Auction host.
Yeah. Any questions? Take any questions. 5 seconds, any questions? 2 seconds, any questions? Anyone got any questions? No, fuck it. Anyway, let's conclude the podcast.
Auctioneers, yeah.
Auctioneers. Yeah, but like you acted like if you said that. It was freaking Yup Queen Continental. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. No, it's all right. Wait, did somebody have a question? One question. Wait, I'm not candy asked. Wait, did someone say they had a question? I don't want to miss anyone. I just got back from family dinner. No, it's just people yapping. Anyway, guys, remember. Ah, crap, I forgot. James, I forgot your quote. What was it again? What was your quote? Remind me. Oh, crap. If you want to get those huge arm gains, he doesn't play any games. Reach out to Coach James. He's already blushing. Thank you very much, James. Really do appreciate you. Thanks for staying additionally. And yeah, let's conclude the podcast with a nice solid giveaway. Guys, huge shout out to everyone. This has literally been one of the best turnouts for the podcast in general. At one point, I think we had up to like 40 people join and then 20 of them left in like 5 minutes. But we had a lot of questions. Thank you for everyone who asked your questions. If you do want to get the full VOD, in case somebody asked a question and you didn't know, what was being said, you want to look, watch the podcast at a slower speed, want to skip to certain areas, whatever, feel free to check out the full VOD, twitch.tv/AOKing. I'm also clipping it on our socials, so Discord_fitness and Discord.fitness on Instagram. And also I show highlights on the main Instagram, effective.fitness. Any more shameless plugs that I need to do? Also look out for James' event upcoming. Get those big arms. James, what date is the event again?
So I think we're going to go with Monday the 28th of April.
Monday 28th.
Start date.
Nice. Looking forward to that. Cool. And let's start the giveaway. Have I given guys enough time to... Oh, we'll put the details in signing up. We've got a nice candidate, Candias. That's why you're literally the best member. Has everybody joined the giveaway? Can I do this wheel? Can I spin the wheel? And is there anybody that should be on multiple times that I only have once? If you're like a supporter, helper, let's put iced twice. It does help out a lot. If you're a supporter of the community, loyal member, etc., you get an opportunity of being added on the wheel twice. Does anyone need time to join? Anyone need time to join? Are we all good? Can I start the spin? Join the giveaway. To join I don't know if you're asking about the giveaway. To join the giveaway, it's literally the giveaway channel just below. Don't worry, I'll help you get the link to make things a lot easier and faster. This is the current giveaway. To join James's ARM event, we will be doing an announcement closer to the date.
Yeah.
Has everyone joined? So did as well.
I'm gonna dip. Cheers, guys. Good to chat. Good to see you, AO.
No worries.
I need to get some food. I'm absolutely starving. So yeah.
Thank you very much,
I'll catch
James.
you in a little bit.
See you, James.
No worries.
Take care. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Happy Easter.
Cheers.
Has everyone joined the giveaway? If you joined the giveaway, guys, can I spin this? This has been literally the longest podcast ever. I am stalling because sometimes people DM me and say, oh my gosh, AO, I knew you hated me. I joined the giveaway and my name wasn't there. Guys, I do not hate any single one of you. So please make sure that you've joined. If you're joined, can I spin? Can I spin? Say yes, say no. Say yes, say no. I'm just going to type for you guys. Yes, you can spin. Shuffle. Right. So if anybody that wins, are we taking any bets? Who do you guys think is going to win? I think Wick. I just think the name stands out. So, someone's saying Techno. Okay. Taking any bets? Who do you guys think is going to win? Yeah. Nitro Boosters supporters get an opportunity to be added multiple times. Let me shuffle it again because, wow. Okay. Yeah, I just want multiple times for people stack just to increase the odds. Okay, let's go. I'll be up enough. Okay, Wick. Right, this guy literally just joined the server as well. Oh, mate, you literally have to be so lucky to be the first time you joined the server, first time you joined, not just joined. Oh, 2 or 3 days ago. Oh, sorry, mate. You didn't just join the server. You joined 2 or 3 days ago. It makes a huge difference. Anyway, congratulations, mate. Really do appreciate you. Thank you all for having an amazing day. You can now leave. Thanks for joining the podcast. Bye-bye. Bye. See ya. Bye. Freaking losers. Joining the Discord podcast on Easter weekend. It's so sad and pathetic. You're all losers. I can't imagine staying to the end of the podcast, even to the outro. That is just sad. Don't you have things to do? Family, friends? You guys are